Shorty Mona Lisa, I'ma play her like I'm violent. I feel like the island, we gon' take her to the island.
It's probably the most embarrassing draft in NFL history for a player. I really want to know what this dude did. How the hell do you go from a top 5 pick to a 5th round pick? The Browns finally selected Shedeur. This was always my theory. It's one of two things that happened with him. It's either he wasn't really a top 5 pick and they had the media in their pocket. They were gassing it up to the media so it looked bigger than what it was. Or he really did some fuck shit in interviews. So I don't know. No in between. There's no in between with that. So I really want to know what he did in the interviews, because to go from a top 5 pick all the way to a 5th round pick, you had to have been talking crazy in there. I ain't never seen nothing like that. How you go from I think his dad, Deshaun Sanders did something when he went to go. I think he did some workout back in the day, and he said like something around, "Oh, I won't even be drafted here. I'm gonna be gone before it even gets to y'all turn," and it worked out for him. But I mean, if Shedeur was as good as people put it out to be, I mean, come on, like everyone's talking about this thing. He tweeted 2 days ago. He was like, "I'm built for whatever today may bring." Dude responded, "What about tomorrow?" I was like, "Damn, what he do?" Kept liking tweets to keep up, because I was like, when he gets picked, I know something gonna come out. But all right, I thought he was going to the Saints, right? So I thought he was going to the Saints. I look at my phone yesterday. They drafted this dude. And then I'm looking, I was like, all right, this definitely, when I saw this, I was like, this has to be personal. I was like, even if Shedeur was trash, he's better than this dude. I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say, right? And then, like, bro, look at this dude combine. I could do better than this shit. I played football since I was young. All right, look at this dude throw. Y'all gotta stop playing with this dude. Like that, this is becoming outrageous. Like that's crazy. Have you guys ever seen any U.S. president come in and speak on behalf of a player? Like this, imagine of any generation of draft picks, like football, basketball, whatever. Imagine you're a projected top 5 pick. The draft is so embarrassing for you. The president for that era has to step in and put out a statement on your behalf. This is kind of how I knew he was gonna get picked. I was like, all right, there's gonna be something they're gonna put together that he'll end up on a team. President Trump calls out NFL owners for not selecting Deshaun Sanders' son, asked if they are stupid. Trump says Sanders should have been selected because he has phenomenal genes. This is the video of him after the first or second day.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, for no reason. All this is of course, fuel to the fire. And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. But we understand we're on the bigger and better things. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless. Legendary.
Ooh. I think it's a little bit of how, like, flashy he is. Because I saw when Cam Ward got drafted, they said, he doesn't, like, he's not a flashy person. You could tell, basically, he loves football or whatever. Shedeur, he gonna wear chains. His signature is holding his watch. He's doing shit like this. He made a custom draft room for himself with his logo right here. And keep in mind, he made more money in college than people make in the NFL currently. So, and he's popping it. Like he's letting, like, look at the chain he got on. He letting people know, like, yeah, I'm getting hella bread. So I really want to know what he said in the interview. This was probably one of the most embarrassing things from it. It said Shedeur Sanders on a random full call during the draft. Nobody got that number but coaches strictly for that reason. Why get mad? They want you to have a certain type of reaction to it. He got prank called into thinking he was about to get selected by some fan. It's foul.
Nobody got that number but coaches, strictly for that reason.
It just pissed me off.
No, but the thing is, it's supposed to happen. But the thing is, why get mad? Because they want you to have a certain type of reaction to it. They want you to feel show. You know what I mean? They want you to feel bad. They want you to feel all that. But I ain't tripping.
You said nobody got that fucking number though.
Nobody has a number.
That shit.
It's all good. Nobody has a number. Y'all talking about start 67. How you gonna start 67 if nobody got the number?
Nah, that shit's crazy. And then, bro, I don't even think they want him for real. Here's a full video of Browns, a football ops, and GM Andrew Berry response to passing on Shedeur, along with the rest of the NFL through the first 2 days, right? Look at this dude's face when he talking. He does not want this dude on the team. Look.
You know what? I think it's I think it's unfair for me to comment in I guess maybe on behalf of the industry. All I can say is this, the time that we spent with Shedeur, and what he's done throughout his college career is impressive. He's an impressive young man. He's a really good quarterback. Sometimes fit comes into play, and I'd also say this, there are 4 more rounds of the draft, and then maybe lastly, it's less about where you get picked and what you do after you get picked. That's really the most important thing. Getting to know him over the course of the spring, he has a ton of resolve, and I think he's going to find himself in a really good spot.
Y'all heard the last statement. He said, I think he's going to find himself in a really good spot. Then you went on to draft him. Does that make any sense? That sounds like, okay, yeah, he's a good player, but we don't want him. Then you went on to draft him. Something don't add up there, unless I'm tripping. This was them now.
Shedeur, we talk oftentimes about quarterback being the most important position in the sport. We obviously spent a lot of time with Shedeur throughout the process. He's highly accurate, can play well from the pocket, very productive college career. And, we felt like it wasn't necessarily the plan going into the weekend to select 2 quarterbacks, but as we talk about, we do believe in best player available. We do believe in positional value, and we didn't necessarily expect him to be available in the 5th round, and so we love adding competition to every position room, and adding him to compete with the guys that are already in there. We felt like that was the appropriate thing to do.
This is a fucking lie, bro. They could have. This is the most professional. This is like a corporate lie. This is a fucking lie. I don't buy this. Y'all did not want him. It's like, if it's not more obvious, a phone call was made. And I'm gonna be honest, they got Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, whatever. I don't even think he really ever gets a shot to develop into a good player. And then, a lot of people saying like, oh, it's like Lamar Jackson. It's not like Lamar Jackson, nigga. It's not. It's far from Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, I think the Ravens had passed on him. They filled their void. They got the tight end. I remember that. And then they got Lamar, and I think Joe Flacco, Joe Flacco was decent, I believe, for when they got Lamar. He was on the latter half, and then history was made. And then y'all talking about, Tom Brady went in the 7th round. People forget. I think people be forgetting. That Tom Brady shit was not supposed to happen. The only reason the world knows Tom Brady is because, what's the guy's name? Drew Bledsoe got injured. If he didn't get injured, we probably wouldn't know Tom Brady. He came in, did what he had to do. He was like, all right, this is my shit. And the world was like, all right. He cold. He got his start. He got his opportunity. He made such a big impression, and then the rest was history. This dude's situation, there's 5 quarterbacks. You got Watson, Flacco, I believe. You got 3 other quarterbacks. So I don't know if they're gonna try to develop him for real. All right, this Shedeur getting drafted.
It's perfect timing. It's a beautiful thing. Our belief in God, that's all we care about. We know these decisions, things happen. Yeah. Sometimes it's adversity. We gotta change it though. We gotta do different.
We gotta do different. We can't control the uncontrollable.
You can't control that. So you just gotta remain positive, stay happy at all times, and know God got you. I knew the whole time God had me, so I wasn't really panicking because I understood it's about perfect timing. So in that case.
He gonna be the most arrogant motherfucker in the league. It's gonna be so crazy, bro. They're gonna write so many media narratives on this dude. Twitter context should be doing people dirty. Remember Deion Sanders in 2024? He was like, he'll be a top 5 pick. Where your son going? LOL, I got time today. They said Shedeur was not a top 5 draft pick. They said, I feel this vid ruined his career. I think really fucked it up for him. I think when his dad got on like that interview and he was saying like basically he's not gonna let certain teams pick him if certain situations happen, I was like, why the fuck would you say that? Like, the reason the Bronny shit worked is because LeBron is still playing. He's still one of the best players in the NBA, so he still has that pull to be able to be like, oh, if y'all do this, my son ain't gonna do this. And then on top of that, he owns Clutch Sports, so a lot of superstars that teams want, they're under LeBron. So if y'all do some fuck shit, he's just gonna tell the player, yo, don't re-sign with them, go to this team. So he got that type of pull. In this situation, your dad's a fucking college coach, a great college coach, but he's not empowered to where he could be telling teams, oh, y'all should do this and that with my son. He's not, So They tried to humble his ass, as you can see. It's pretty obvious.
If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the culture, don't give me. So you should know history repeats itself over and over and over, and I've done it over and over and over. So it should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people gotta say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too. So it's like it's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. So we like diversity. We like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are.
Hey, I'm not gonna hold you. This is a top 5 video all time ever. Nick says Shedeur Sanders in his pre-draft interviews when asked if he'd be willing to come off the bench. Hey, this sits a top 5 video.
Not your little niggas. Like the way you talking, I don't get what you mean. We're not your little niggas. Like, for real, all that big homie stuff, that's for little niggas. Little niggas have big homies. We're not little niggas, so we don't even respect big homies. I know Killer doesn't, and for me, I never respected niggas in the streets. That's why I always got the problems I got. Niggas would tell me, Mace, chill. No, chill for what? Who is this nigga?
Says an NFL coach told him his interview with Sanders was the worst formal interview he ever had. Damn.
Mike, it was not a shock within the NFL and team buildings when Shedeur Sanders did not go in the first round. I would fairly tell you it is a surprise that he is still on the board at the start of day 3. Philosophically, some teams feel like you were drafted at the quarterback.
Wait, y'all can't. But Travis Hunter was talking about when he got picked, oh, great decision. That ain't rub motherfuckers the wrong way? Well, I mean, I don't know.
Specifically, if you think you got a starter, you take him in round 1. If you're drafting somebody to be your backup, you don't want to do that until day 3. I spoke last night with one general manager who is considering taking Shedeur Sanders today. He pointed back all the way to March 2024 and something that Shedeur's father, Deion Sanders, said on a podcast talking about both Shedeur and Travis Hunter, saying that if they are drafted by a team that they don't want to go to, he's going to step in and pull an Eli, meaning force those players to not actually go to that team and try to get them traded. Throughout the pre-draft process, Shedeur Sanders very much proceeded as if he was dictating to clubs where he was going to go rather than how the draft works, which is the other way around. And there were a bunch of opportunities missed at the various checkpoints through that pre-draft process. Go all the way back to All-Star season. Instead of going to the Senior Bowl, he went to the East-West Shrine Bowl in his backyard in Dallas. Despite an NFL memo saying if you go to these All-Star games, you have to practice, Shedeur chose not to. At the Combine, it is now well documented some of his formal interviews did not go well. One assistant coach told me in all his years it was the worst formal interview he'd ever been through. People said that Shedeur was trying to dictate how he wanted things to go and made them feel small. Even at the Pro Day, the entire Big 12 had an event in Dallas. Shedeur was there, but did not work out. He had a showcase instead in Colorado, all of which is to say for a player who had a variety of questions both about the talent level, how he would fit into an NFL system, how he would adjust from his play style in college, but also about the potential culture shock of for the first time play for someone who is not his father. There were opportunities that Shedeur Sanders could have taken there. He seemed to feel as if he was in an elite category where he could choose the few teams he wanted to go to. Now some of those very same teams that might be considering taking Shedeur today didn't get those opportunities to answer their question.
What teams want on these visits, and we can debate, whether they should, but what they want is to hear a player that is coachable, that is willing to accept information, that is willing to adapt when they're being asked to adapt. He didn't communicate that on a lot of these visits. Again, we could debate this, but I'm just telling you that that's what these teams got, and that's what Tom is communicating here as well.
But Tom Brady, who is a minority owner for the Raiders, heavily involved in football operations, has been a mentor to Shedeur Sanders. And
Wait. So, okay, that makes stuff even crazier. Tom Brady, who was a low pick himself, probably had 4 or 5 opportunities to take Shedeur. Could have put a word in and said, nah. Wow. And he mentored Shedeur. So whatever they're saying gotta be true, because Brady did mentor this dude during the season. So okay, I see the play here. Okay, so this is what I think they're gonna do with Shedeur. This is what I think they're gonna do. He got drafted to the Browns, right? They got like 5 QBs. They sent him, the Browns picked him, but I think with the draft, the goal was to get him to like a team where everybody knows you ain't gonna play type shit. Like the Chiefs, he's not gonna play over Patrick Mahomes. I don't give a fuck, right? The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, the Browns, Deshaun Watson. So draft him to a team like that. You already have some people in front of him. Act like you want to develop him and then ship him. And then he won't develop under the perfect, you know what I'm saying? So he won't turn out to be the player he's supposed to be. That's what I think is the play here. But I think collectively, no one's fucking with this dude. Because Tom Brady, he could have put a word. They're going to listen to Brady. Like, Brady could have put, I feel like Tom Brady could have put a word in for this dude. So, I don't know. He had to have done some shit. I don't know what he did, but he did something.
This is maybe because of NIL. And trust me, guys, we know that Shedeur Sanders, whether via his father or via the ridiculous amount of NIL money that he made, he got paid. Right. Like, a lot over the last couple of years. And Jay Glazer said something interesting, and it was one of his posts on, I saw it on Instagram. I'm sure he did it on every platform, that said it used to be that there were flags thrown at kids coming out of college for 1, injury, 2, character issues. But now there's a third one, and it's basically doesn't love football. And that can come in a couple of ways. Like, I'm just here because I'm good at this. I don't love it. I don't want to be great. I'm just good at this, so that's why I'm doing it. Or I don't need to grind to go get paid. Like, the NFL is one of the few sports where unless you're drafted in the top 15, right, you got to earn getting paid.
Yes.
You just don't get paid. You don't just show up and like, hey, I'm a great prospect and I'm going to get called up, and then once my arbitration runs out, they're going to pay me some guaranteed contract and I'm going to be set for the rest of my life.
You'd be cut within a year.
You have to earn it in the NFL. And a lot of these kids have come into the NFL rich. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean,
I'm rich.
Right, exactly. I'm rich, bitch. And now I'm even richer because I got drafted in the first round. So I think there's starting to become this little thing to watch. The kids come in and they don't love it. They don't love the grind. They don't want to grind because they're already paid. And they think that, this $4 or $5 million that they have coming out of college is all they're going to need in their life. And they might be right, unless they start buying Ferraris and, iced up chains and everything else. But this is something to watch with kids who sometimes come off as entitled. And if you looked at any of the social media of Shedeur Sanders over the last 2 years, trust me, you see him driving a Bentley. You see him wearing ice out the wazoo. You see him on every social media, broad post, commercial post. Does he love the game? And if that's a question, teams are increasingly not going to take you. Gabe, that's my best guess of why he fell.
Dude had a good ass college season. So I mean, it's really hard to say that. His dad's a legend. He showed, he could play at that level. So I can't, it's hard to be like, oh, he doesn't love the game. I mean, what do you think happens when they touch 200 million? The dude, like, you can't really say that because he's been around money his whole life. His dad been rich. He's been rich since he was born. So you can't really say, oh, he really love the game. I respect him when people are straightforward. Just be like, yo, we don't fuck with you. Fuck you. We won't like how you do whatever, and that's what it is. Like, I'll respect that more than, oh, we don't think he love the game. How you can't say he don't love the game? His dad been rich his whole life. The dude he been around money his whole life. So he's already like numb to that shit. Shit he's getting now is really just a bonus, So I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's crazy to me. Wildest draft, most embarrassing draft of all time for a player that's supposed to be a lottery pick in my book. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section. As always, it's your boy.